Alright, this is Ubaid on behalf of V Electronics, and in this video we're going to be talking about four types of consumer buying behavior. So in the last video we talked about our external and environmental stimuli that impacts your decision-making process as a consumer and how that decision-making process eventually leads to an action. Okay, in this video we're going to be talking about four types of buying behaviors when it comes to consumers. Now there may be more than four types, however in this video we'll cover four. So starting with our variety-seeking buying behavior. This is a buying behavior where the consumer is seeking variety. It's because they like variety. They like diversity. So variety-seeking buying behavior. Okay, the consumer may seek variety because they're looking for some sort of an insurance policy, some sort of a backup in case one brand is not doing that great. Okay, so on and so forth. So in this case, the customer is not necessarily dissatisfied with a particular brand. It's just that they're used to buying things in variety. They used to shop around for products, and they're used to buying different brands or different product lines. Okay, so variety seeking has to do with diversity. It has a lowest consumer involvement as far as the consumer involvement with the supplier is concerned. So lowest consumer involvement. All right, and apart from lowest consumer involvement, okay, you also have consumer looking for variety. So this is consumer looking for variety. All right, so that is variety seeking. Now, apart from variety seeking consumer behavior, we also have something called habitual buying behavior. Again, this is mostly relevant to repeat customers, where a repeat customer or returning customer may buy the same product, same brand over and over again. Okay, so this could be because of the pricing. It could be because that consumer is satisfied with the brand. Maybe that consumer is satisfied with the customer support that's provided by the brand, so on and so forth. So this has to do with habitual buying behavior. Repeat buy. Okay, so repeat purchase. And just like the variety seeking buying behavior, it also has a low involvement in the purchase decision making process. Okay, so repeat purchase. All right. And this could be because of returning customers. Okay, it could be because of things like budget constraints. It could be things like certain type of preference. Okay, maybe the consumer is used to consuming a certain type of product. Okay, so on and so forth. So this is habitual buying behavior. Okay, this may have to do with things like milk, where you do not need to think much. It may have to do with things like bottled water. Okay, it may have to do with things like chocolate maybe, or soft drinks. Okay, so on and so forth. So this is habitual buying behavior. Now, apart from habitual buying behavior, also have dissonance reducing buying behavior. So this is dissonance reducing buying behavior. Now, what exactly is dissonance? So dissonance has to do with buyer's remorse. Okay, it has to do with guilt. So say, for example, if you buy something very expensive, okay, it turns out that that product does not work out as well, and you end up with the guilt that you spent so much money on that product. So in this case, what's going to end up happening is, okay, the buyer is going to end up with remorse, is going to end up with dissonance. Okay, however, when the buyer does his or her own research before the purchase, let's just say pre-purchase research, okay, and goes ahead and reads customer or consumer reviews, let's say for example on Amazon or eBay or any one of these websites online, okay, before making that purchase, the consumer is going to end up with a product that he or she likes, that he or she wanted in the first place, as a result of which there's not much of a remorse, there's not much of a guilt in buying that product. And this is what we call dissonance reducing buying behavior. So you're doing a lot of research, you're consulting with a lot of people, you're talking with your friends and families, your relatives, your co-workers, so on and so forth, to figure out whether a product is good or not. Okay, so this is dissonance reducing buying behavior. Dissonance reducing buying behavior. So this has to do with pre-purchase research. And consumer reviews, such as those on Amazon. We also have a lot of websites online nowadays that provide reviews on products, not to mention YouTube videos and channels. So this is where the consumer may go ahead, watch a YouTube video, go on one of these websites, and see if the product is any good in the eyes of people who bought it in the first place. Okay, so this is dissonance reducing buying behavior. Now, apart from dissonance reducing buying behavior, you also have complex buying behavior. All right, so complex buying behavior has to do with buying expensive items such as your house or your car, for example. Okay, this is where your decision-making process is very complex, as a result of which you end up with a decision that you don't regret later on. Okay, so this is complex. Buying behavior. So this is buying behavior. So this is when you make significant or expensive purchase. So this is significant or expensive purchase. Okay. So complex buying behavior. All right. You're highly involved in the buying or decision-making process. So consumer is highly involved in the decision-making process. All right, so these are some of the buying behaviors as far as the consumers are concerned. And again, okay, this buying behavior, or all these buying behaviors, okay, do take a hit when it comes to environmental and marketing stimuli. So marketing stimuli and environmental stimuli do have an impact on these buying behaviors, as a result of which, okay, what consumers buy really depends on the environmental and marketing stimuli at the end of the day. All right, so that would be it for this video. On behalf of V Electronics, this is Ubaid. Have yourself a great day.